Some women like diamonds, other women like grenade pins, and that's what makes your and Lloyd's relationship that memorable. There's so much to love about episode 2 of Spy Family. I mean, finally getting introduced, and sure, only was one episode, but if the father and the daughter were that memorable, you knew damn well the mother was going to be. So I'm glad that they didn't beat around the bush. I'm glad that they showed us Yor and just how lovable she is. She is violent. She can kill. She can kick ass and take names. And she can be very flexible to catch the hot food so it doesn't burn her or her hubby. But ultimately, she is a sweetheart with a heart of gold for the people that she truly cares about. And I think what makes this show so special is that, sure, when you take a step back from anime, the idea of two people, whether it's, the mother and the father working for two separate groups, they should be enemies, but they fell in love. Sometimes they have those two fight. We've seen that before, but what makes it so charming is that in very anime fashion, they take all the best, what should be gimmicks, and turn them into such a memorable piece to this puzzle. Anya is, I think, the glue that holds this whole thing together in such a memorable way. Lloyd, by himself, is a lovable guy who has a heart of gold, but he is a spy, so ultimately he has to make the hard decisions. But because Anya is a part of his life, he started to open up a bit more and embrace humanity. You have Yor, who is a lovable woman, who is a badass who can kill, but ultimately just doesn't feel like she has a purpose in life, right? Like she very much is ostracized, she's kind of pushed away. And because of this lovable man who, of course, she probably has her own suspicions about, is he actually a therapist because he is tossing grenades at them. But at that moment, it doesn't really matter when they just have such natural chemistry. And once she's introduced to Anya, I'm sure she'll have the same loving connection that Lloyd has for her. And I think that's what makes this family so special, is that, yeah, you could worry if you want, but I'm not gonna, because it very much feels like this is a show that's not meant to make you say, oh, at some point Lloyd's gonna betray Anya, or Yor's gonna betray Anya, or Anya's gonna betray either one of them. No, this very much is a story that's supposed to immediately hook you in and say, this is the best family anime has to offer, maybe ever, maybe for this year, maybe for this season only. Doesn't matter, because they are without a doubt a 10 out of 10 dynamic, and all three of them are equally important, lovable, memorable, and they all feel like they have a purpose to kind of play. Obviously, the missions are going to overlap. They're not supposed to actually have feelings. Whether it's a spy, whether it's an assassin, you're supposed to be a tool for your organization. Eventually, when the mission's over, you dump them and you move on to your next objective, right? That ain't going to happen with this family. And that very well could create a very dramatic arc where, they have to go against the people they worked for. But ultimately, it's crystal clear that this family is here to stay, and I am living for it. Whether it's Anya's remarks, this can't be my mama, or just the idea of just some of the just random things she'll say, like, oh no, I'm so lonely, I need a mother, because she can read minds, of course, right? And she realizes, like, oh, this is the coolest shit ever. A spy as a dad, an assassin as a mom, could I get any more lucky? And just like the numerous times that things just went so overboard, but in the most tasteful ways. Whether it's our man who just, recognizes, like, that's really weird that she could realize that I was looking in her direction, because truthfully, no one without training should be able to notice that. But she's attractive, she's charming, and then ultimately kind of got blindsided by, being like, oh shit, this could actually work out as being a fake mother. She needs me to be a fake boyfriend. This is all just working out very nicely. And I love the idea that his mission, his second mission, because he's basically getting overloaded with work, is to go steal a bunch of valuable things, and he doesn't even have enough time for 10 seconds per guard, so he's basically Sonic the Hedgehog. You just see a ball moving around as you see all these different bodies fly in every which direction. He had a great noble idea at first, he's going to take the diamond ring as basically his reward, his little pocket change, so to speak. Unfortunately for him, the pocket ripped and he had to use a grenade pin instead. I imagine they'll probably do something a little more like formal. The fact that, they already are suspicious of Yor in their office to begin with. So most likely she'll need a proper ring even if she likes the grenade pin, all things considered. But I just love seeing that, and then how immediately it gets your emotions in the right way. Whether it makes you want to melt with Anya, or makes you want to punch this skank who basically just wants to ruin people's lives because A, someone's talking to her man who literally has no interest in said man other than please pass a nice message along to my brother, or just wants to start rumors. And the fact that after seeing someone who she's like, oh shit, he's hot, he's obviously successful. No way, this is a lie. I'm gonna embarrass her. And then you just see how flexible / skilled she is and how much he is putting on this facade of I love you. But I think that's not exactly what was happening. In fact, I think there's a genuine love there. They just don't realize it yet. This is without a doubt a story of love at first sight. Of course, they're going to push away from it because they have years of training to program them like a tool. But ultimately, they're going to be the best husband and wife and mother and father to Anya. And Anya's going to be the best daughter in anime, period. And I think that's what makes it so charming. And the fact that they just click so well despite being on two polar opposite sides. I think it's been a while since there's been a show that I've immediately believed what it was showing me without a second guess. Because in most cases, an idea of a spy, assassin, family story, I should be a little worried. Like, oh man, there's going to come a point where they're going to have to betray the other. But that point came last week. It was when he told Anya to go to the police station and get into basically a proper orphanage. But Anya didn't go and he didn't push her away. Of course, he's still saying, until my mission's over, I'll keep her around. I won't hurt her feelings again, like she has been betrayed by all these different families. But if this show wanted to make us believe there would be a betrayal, episode 1, it literally had that moment and then removed it. And I think episode 2, it's easy to walk in and out of an episode saying, I don't need to worry. Like, yeah, the drama will be there if there ever comes a point where they realize that, their finest agents are in love with the people they're supposed to be using. But ultimately, they're not going to betray their family because even if it's fake on paper, it's without a doubt a real family, especially when the daughter can read minds and navigate around the minefield in case things could be a little messy, where, oh yeah, I don't actually feel any strong feelings. Anya will read into that and say, let's go to the zoo. And then they're going to have a grand old time at the zoo and forget about the nonsense that they were thinking about their programming. And not to mention the opening I thought was so stylistically impressive. For the most part, it was drawn as if a children's book or a children's drawing, like something that Anya would draw and have hung on the fridge. It's a very adorable touch, given the fact that it almost feels like Anya is the crutch of this relationship into keeping it to be a genuine family, as it starts off with an almost Lupin the Third kind of style opening with this intense car spy chase scene, a couple of spy maneuvers, but for the most part, it was just a adorable children's drawing that continuously evolved as if she made an entire storybook about her family. And if that ain't the most adorable, heartwarming shit ever, I don't know what is. Openings this season have been fantastic for me, both on the visual and song level, but still, this one caught me by surprise with how stylistically / amazing the song was, and how perfectly it captured what Spy Family clearly wants to be. This show is 10 out of 10, I think is without a doubt going to be the best anime of the season. It already is, in my opinion, with the 2 episodes that's been released. I am so happy it's not a one core and done show. I'm glad it is a split core and will be coming back in fall when this first run does end, and hopefully that will just be the start of this amazing production getting multiple episodes and seasons. But thoughts if you have any on Spy Family. We are introduced to the full family at this point. I actually love the little kind of like henchman minion that's been working with our boy Lloyd. I love his almost like carefree trollish attitude, but let me know what you're feeling down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.